Hey guys, I am really excited to talk about this new platform that I have been introduced to by one of my friends, and I've been checking them out this past week. And I actually hopped on a call with some of the guys from the advisory board that's running this whole thing. Really, really exciting stuff. And we're in the early phases of this. So this is something that I'm doing, and if you guys like what you see, great. You can end up joining if you want. My link's going to be in the description of this video. If you want to register, you can reach out to me on Telegram so I can get you in my Telegram groups and whatnot that I typically do for those who end up deciding to join something that I'm in. But this is really just an educational video. I'm just showing you guys what I found and what I'm personally doing. So please make sure you guys do your own due diligence. You saw the disclaimer, but I wanted to talk about this project because especially at this time, so it is May 20th, and if you guys have been in previous projects that I've been in and understanding the crypto market has been getting destroyed. Lots of fear, lots of uncertainty, and lots of doubt in the whole overall crypto market. But then other previous projects that usually when a crash like this happens, you get a bunch that kind of exit scam or bailout. And so it is really important, I feel, and I talk about this a lot when it comes to diversifying. So there are a lot of high risk projects, and you can make a lot of money from high risk projects. I mean, high risk, high reward, that's not a guarantee, but it's possible depending on what kind of project you get yourself involved with. But I talk a lot about diversifying, and I feel it's not only important to diversify into multiple projects, but to make sure that you guys, or for me at least, that I'm diversifying into lower risk projects, ones that hopefully have a greater chance at longevity, sustainability. And again, I'm not guaranteeing uh, for any real for any project. I can't tell the future. There's no 100% guarantee, but sometimes there are projects that come up where you just have a little bit better feeling and understanding and calls with, in this case, the advisory board, uplines that have known some of these guys for years from previous projects or previous events, and so you kind of end up finding projects that, for me at least, I put them on my lower risk, long-term bucket of where I diversify into. So it's not just diversifying into a bunch of high risk projects because, again, in the end, those are high risk. But I feel it's important when I find a low risk project, and again, this is all my opinion of when I've kind of checked this platform out. That's kind of how I'm labeling it. Now, it's not going to be crazy returns, okay? And I know some of you have already set in your mind that you need to be making 3% a day, 1% a day. And for me, I can't think like that because those platforms may only last a month, 2 months, a few months. Maybe they end up lasting 6 months. But to have a little bit greater ease of mind and less stress of waking up to making sure things are running, I think I got something here for everybody. Again, do your own due diligence. This is my opinion, but we're talking about Fundsz, Fundzz. Now, like I was saying earlier, I had a call with two of the advisory board members, and it was really great. My uplines helped put it together, and they've known one of the guys for I think it was like over 7 years. So it's not just a bunch of random people, and I'll show you guys some of the advisory members, and you can look them up. I had a call with two of them, but Fundsz is, in my opinion, what you would consider a passive income platform where you give them your money, and there's no guarantee, of course, but they try their best to increase that and then give it a profit amount back, a percentage amount every week. and you can compound that way. And if these guys are around for years to come, that is life-changing stuff. Now remember, though, this isn't get rich quick in a month. You're not gonna, I mean, unless you have really high funds, maybe that you're putting into this, but you're not gonna hit 6, 7 figures in a month. Now they do have an affiliate program. I'll touch on that at the very end, but not everybody does affiliate or team building, but it's there as an option. But let me go ahead and talk about, well, I wanted to show you guys. So they publicly launched November of 2021, and I do like to look up them on Whois, and this is kind of just to check out their domain so I can see that they registered in May, end of May actually, of 2020. Apparently they've been in some beta phase and kind of this newer public launch back in November, kind of making sure the site is functioning correctly. But we can at least see it was registered end of May 2020, recently updated this month as well of 2022. So there you guys have it, and I'm gonna show you some of the earnings that actually goes back since they've gone public January of this year, which is really cool. So there's not too much information when I arrive on their homepage here. I do have a presentation slide I do want to cover a little bit, but these guys, they don't talk too much here on just this homepage, and so I'm not going to focus here. Let me switch over to my PowerPoint presentation because that's where all the meat and potatoes are, all the details, and it's really nice when you find like-minded people like you that, I mean, I'm sure you guys can relate, right? We're all tired of platforms coming and going. And I mean, that's the thing though, is if you're involved with high-risk platforms, yes, you're going to see a lot more that come and go, that rug pull, that exit scam, and it sucks. But it's funny, when I show a platform like this, and I'll tell you guys right now, so they've been averaging 3% every week. So that is our payout amount, 3% weekly. And I tell people that, so right, if we do the math, 3 times 4, there's 4 weeks in a month, averaging around 12% a month, and that's still not a guarantee, but people hear that and they say, okay, that sucks, I can't work with that, and that's fine. This platform isn't for everybody, but for somebody who is wanting something that might have more longevity and sustainability in hopefully the years to come versus the weeks or the months only for a high risk project, then you guys might want to check this out, okay? And these advisory board members, I mean, if I go here, let me show you. I'm not gonna talk about a lot of this stuff here. There's just certain things I want to discuss from this presentation slide. So this advisory board, I was watching a YouTube video. It was a Zoom session that my uplines did with almost all of these guys. So we had JP, the chairman. He's the current chairman. Brian. We had Renee, and I can't remember if these two. This lady here was not on that call, and I don't know if these two guys were on it either. But they. I know for a fact though that Brian, Renee, and JP were all on this call discussing their platform, their vision. Just they want to provide that long-term sustainability to members because they understand as well that there's a lot of garbage out there, and there's a lot of high risk things out there, which again, there's a time and place. If you guys want to dive into high risk stuff, just make sure you understand that it's high risk. And even with this though, it's not 100% guaranteed, but how I look at this is obviously you can lower that high risk threshold to a medium risk or a lower risk, kind of just depending on what's happening with the platform, like this advisory board, having these guys be public, and these aren't just faces, these aren't just stock photos. You can go and look these guys up on LinkedIn, and that's actually what I did. I was on a call with Renee and Brian specifically just yesterday discussing kind of some of my concerns, not really actually concerns, just questions I wanted clarity on. So here's the advisory board. These guys are the ones that put this all together and are running the show. So it's really great not just to see faces that you're not sure if it's legit or not, but these guys are real. And even then, let me talk about this because I have seen platforms where, yeah, people are up there, they're public, and things still implode. But for me, there is a lower chance of things imploding because these guys' lives are on the line. If they do anything, I mean, especially in the U.S., like you're going to jail for 5, 10 plus years, depending on, if you get involved with some kind of fraud or scam, especially on this kind of level. So there you guys have it with the advisory board. And I want to go over now to what these guys are offering. So I mentioned 3% average was what they have been doing, and how we're talking about this is we are taking a stake of the company, and essentially what that means is we give them our money. So for example, I think I put in a couple thousand so far, just to kind of test the waters. So I give them a couple thousand as a staking plan, kind of a stake into their company. They take that and they make, hopefully, they try their best to make money. They've been averaging 3% weekly. And so if they are able to make 3% weekly for our cut per week, then that's kind of our share that we get for having a stake in the company. So they're labeling it as a staking plan. I hope that makes sense, but it's passive. It's passive income. There is no learning curve. I mean, you do have to understand how to deposit crypto. That's what they take is cryptocurrency. So if you guys know how to already do that, great. They take USDT TRC20, which is awesome. That's the stable coin that I use for a lot of my stuff. But they take Bitcoin, Litecoin, I can't remember. They might take Ethereum. I can't remember exactly the other few ones that they take. But I mean, we don't have to do any of the earning on our end, which is awesome. We can kind of park our money here. These guys will take our staked amount and do their best to provide and get profits for us to pay weekly. So again, payout is every single Friday, and I'll show you guys a little bit of the back office later on. And to go over their performance report, they don't go into details and give 100% transparency on how exactly what they're doing to earn the 3%. I'll show you a little bit though, because they talk about how, not how exactly, but just on a general level how things are earned. But if we're talking at least about the passive income, we can park money here. If you want a team build, and there's an affiliate side for that as well. And I mean, this is one I feel, and we have to gauge it out and see. I mean, publicly since November, and if these guys are here for years to come, then this might be one where I talk about this a little bit, where you diversify your eggs. You don't put all your eggs in one basket, but sometimes you guys, that egg, if it's in something solid and it's a lower risk, and given there's still not 100% guarantee, but sometimes those eggs turn into chickens, and those chickens produce more eggs where you can diversify. So it's not just like you're going to the store, you're buying eggs, and then you're placing them around. Sometimes it happens, but sometimes then you've these places where you've put your eggs in, which I'm kind of referencing money. They turn into chickens and can produce more eggs where you can kind of spread things out. So in my opinion, I feel this is one where my egg might turn into some, well, maybe multiple chickens, right? If I'm putting a little bit more eggs in here. It's not all my eggs because I don't think that's good, and anything is to put all your eggs in one basket. But if I put a few eggs here, they turn into some chickens, and those chickens lay some eggs where I can diversify a little bit more. I think this might be something. So we can compound weekly, which is awesome. And let me go ahead and show you, since we're speaking of compounding, if you go and once you create your account with them, if you go to the staking tab, they have a compound calculator, which is just going to redirect you guys to this calculator site, which is the same calculator that I use to kind of play around, have a little fun, and see, well, how much might I make if I'm doing compounding? So let me show you guys, because I don't think you understand how powerful this weekly compounding is. You guys are just, I mean, you might be just focused on 3% a week isn't a lot, and I'm not going to get anywhere with that. But let me throw some numbers at you just to kind of open up your eyes and your mindset a bit. So I'm going to change this to weekly, and I'm going to say I'll go off of their average of 3%. And now let's say I put in $1,000 and I do that for a year. If I scroll down here and hit the calculate button, let's see what my 1,000 turns to in a year. Okay, so in a year, my 1,000 turns into 4,334. Now, I'm not taking into consideration the $10 or $30 monthly subscription. So let's say you're paying $10 every single month for 12 months. That's an extra 120 on top of this that you need to take into consideration. But if we can go down here, we can break down. And let me tell you guys, so they tell you this is a 300% annual return just based off of this example, which is crazy. You're not going to get that in the bank. So they do give you a little breakdown here as well, which is nice. And if you're getting 3% every single week, yeah, so let's say it's going to tell you the interest, and then it's just going to compound those earnings up until the final end date, which is a year. But let's put this at 2 years, all right? Let's see after 2 years, because if this goes on, guys, for years and years to come, your 1,000 has now turned into almost $19,000. Given this is if you're compounding 100%, and if you're not withdrawing anything, this isn't considering if you're adding more funds into here at all. I mean, we can play around with extra deposit amounts, but I don't really want to go into that too much. Let's say they're here for 3 years. And I know that might seem like a long time, but these are longer plays. A lot of people, I'm in the US, a lot of people will deposit into their 401k for 40 years, sometimes a little bit longer than that. And then hopefully when they're 65 or whatever, they can retire and use some of those funds. So 3 years is nothing compared to that. And again, this is off of $1,000. So I know a lot of people, maybe that might be a good number that people will start with. But in 3 years, your 1,000 has turned into 81,000. Now remember, this is passive. You can enable the compounding, which is awesome, into, you know what, let me show you guys. Let me show you what that would look like. So this is, I can go to my staking details. I got $1,000 in here. If I view those details, you can see my compounding is set to yes. So every single week, it's just going to put it back in and keep compounding that new amount every single week. And so you can set this to no if you don't want compounding. You want to withdraw some weekly funds, you can do that, and it's very, very simple, straightforward. Or if you want to leave it to yes, for this example, I would, if I were to leave the compounding to set to yes, and it's doing this for the next 3 years nonstop, passive. It's not like I'm actually doing any of the earnings myself. Then this is some great stuff. I mean, given this is just an example, if their average continues to stay at 3%, I mean, if they're here for the next 4 years, what does that turn into? Holy cow. Okay, so 352, almost 353,000 in 4 years. So, and let me tell you, for a lot of people, this is some life-changing funds. That is crazy. Let me just play around a little bit more. So let's say you come in with a little bit more. So if you were to do like 5,000, and I know this might not be relative maybe to a lot of you, but maybe you get to the point where you can put some more in. I don't know. You guys, holy cow. Okay, so 4 years, 1.7 million, and that's at 3% a month. Now, if this was me, I could retire off this amount right here. This is with $5,000. This is if I compounded, just per this example, if I compounded nonstop for 4 years straight, if I did not add anything to my plans, my staking plans, my staking amounts, if I didn't add anything monthly or whatever, then this is what it would look like at 3% a month. I mean, if I go a little bit down to 3 years, 400,000, this is at $5,000. Maybe you guys are at a lower amount. Okay, you guys can mess around with this and see what would 500 give me. Maybe you only got 100. 100 is the minimum to get started here. So if you only had $100, hey, your 100 turned into 8,000 in 3 years. That's a 300% annual return, which is insane. If I go to 1 year, I mean, I'm sure it's not like a crazy amount. So yeah, 433, that's still 333% APY every single year based off this calculator. But I hope this helped you guys to understand a bit that yes, it's only if we're averaging 3%, and maybe I shouldn't even say only because 3% a week is crazy. You guys don't understand. If you are in the US, as I was saying earlier, that 401k that you're depositing into, every single deposit, that on average, I think gets like what around 10% a year, and we're getting 3% on average weekly. With the current setup, with their current numbers, and again, it's not 100% guaranteed. Maybe they end up doing a little bit more on some weeks, maybe a little bit less, but that's what they have been doing up until this point. So this is crazy, and again, I'm putting this. You guys can label this however you want. I'm putting this in my low risk, long term bucket and see how it plays. And maybe something happens and it might go to a medium risk. But how I see things right now, from what I've observed and calls that I've been on, this is how I'm labeling it. But I just want to show you guys the compounding side because I feel a lot of you don't understand and you skip out on these, which is fine. You guys can do whatever you want, but you see 3% a week and you say, no, that's too low. You're used to 3% a day, but you just need to understand that, hey, if that 3% a day only lasts for a month or a couple months and maybe you only break even, whereas with something like this, it can possibly potentially run for years to come. And I'm not saying, and this is what I do, I don't just do this, okay? This isn't the only thing that I'm doing. I'm diversifying into. I'm diversifying into other lower risk projects, some medium risk, some higher risk. So I've got multiple areas where I'm compounding earnings, like in this example, and withdrawing, getting my initial amounts back, and just keep on just rolling the dice some more. I'm rolling it down the hill. Hopefully, things snowball, and that's how I personally tackle these kinds of platforms, passive income, and just this whole area that we're currently in. So that's it for the compound interest calculator. Let me go ahead and go back to the presentation. Your initial staked amounts that you guys put in, so my 1,000 for example, it is currently, I think they use the term vested, or I mean, in simpler terms, it's locked up for 90 days. Okay, so 90 days, your initial staked amounts are locked up, but once you hit day 91, you guys can request those initial amounts that you staked or deposited if you wanted to. So it's not like you'll never see your initial amount. You're only getting paid 3%. Once you hit day 91 from your staked amount, the day that you stake that, then you can request. So it's just they want that up to 90 days just so it can churn and create the profits, and they can use that and not worry about people trying to get everything out all of a sudden. So we do have some flexibility around there, which is great. And again, every single Friday we can withdraw if there are any profits for that week. We can withdraw those. Now I'll touch on this a little bit. How do I make money with Fundsz? They actually have quite a there's a lot of ways, and this is mainly for those who want to team build, so I don't want to touch on it too much, but there are ways that you can earn from staking, and especially if you're team building. So obviously the passive compounding that comes from your own personal account. If you guys end up team building, then you'll get some extra earnings from referrals, and then team referrals up through 8 levels. they also have a membership fee. I actually forgot to talk about this. So there is a membership fee. It is $10 every single month if you guys want to get started. And that's a monthly subscription. $10 every single month if you don't want a team build. And I also did not cover this, but it's a $100 minimum is the entry amount. Okay, so you need 100 bucks to that's the lowest amount that you can create a staked plan with. And there is that membership fee. Now, if you want a team build, it's $30 every month. So you're paying 10 or 30, and depending on if you're team building, then some of that membership fee is trickling back upwards to uplines and all of that. They've got some other like this car bonus, house bonus. It's not like you're actually getting a car or a house. It's just they're using some of the membership, the staking to pay these out. So that's a little bit of, I mean, it's 8 ways that they put on here of how to earn rewards. Mainly, most of this comes from if you start to team build. But again, even if you're not, it's not a requirement. It's not mandatory to build a team. You can still earn passively, and they've been averaging 3% weekly. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit on how does this work. So I said before that we are creating these staking plans and kind of getting a stake of the company, their profits that they're earning. So if I give them 1,000 and I put it into a staking plan, if they average 3% weekly, then I get 3% of my staked amount, which is 30 bucks if I put in 1,000. Now, I don't want you guys to get confused about staking, because if you're familiar with crypto, proof of staking, the staking word is a little bit different than what they're referring to here. Like I said earlier, it's more of like a stake of the company, kind of like dividends or whatever, where depending on how they do profit-wise, earning-wise, you get a piece of that. So how this exactly works, Fundsz, and they say here on their marketing side, so Fundsz has sustainable revenue sources to support your earnings, from your staked amounts that you're putting in and creating with the company. So the 3 ways they currently say is, one is trading. Okay, so trading makes up part of the earnings. They've got the membership fees, the $10 and $30 helps with the the referral bonus, car bonus, and the house bonuses. So all of the team building, the affiliate bonuses, earnings that are paid out help come through the membership fees, and then some of the trading as well for those staking earnings. So the average 3% a week, this is what they're telling us it comes from. So it's not exactly, well, it's not the crypto staking, it's just staking in regards of ownership a little bit of the profit of how the company is doing, and then they will share that with us since we have a stake, quote unquote, of the company. But this is kind of further, if you look in, inside the bag here, this is how that is made up: trading, membership fees, and then future services. So I hope that makes sense on a little bit, and it's not like in detail. And like I said earlier, they don't. So if we're talking about trading, they do give us a performance report of how they do, but this is not a transparent, like 100%. It's more of just, here's the numbers of how we did. It's not, they don't go into the platforms of where they're trading and showing all of that. So again, though, this is a new, fresh, we're still at the beginning phase, so they might open up some transparency here or there, but right now, and I'll show you the performance report, what that looks like. Actually, let me just show you right now, just so you guys can see and so I don't forget. Okay, so I'm in the back office, and this performance reports tab is what I clicked on, but then we can see for April, and it gives you the weekly breakdown of that month. And then this is a little bit different breakdown here of the weekly performance. But we can see here for April, this is what they've been doing each week. So it's been averaging, they say average 3%, but some of these are more than 3%. Like, this is the only one that was below it, but then we had a 3.37, 3.31. Let's see how they did in March. They had a 3.57% week. So this is how they are reporting from this side. So their performance report, this is what it's going to look like moving forward unless they change some of the stuff. So it goes down to January. That's the furthest that they log their performance reports. But this is where you can go and see in the back office how things are doing. So we're currently still in the month of May. So I imagine once May ends and they have all of the May data, then they will update this performance report for May. But this is how it looks. And again, like I said, it's not 100% transparent. So you guys can decide, right? I'm just giving you the information. This is what I'm doing. I'm not forcing or telling you guys to do any of this stuff. It's just, hey, here's something that I'm getting into. And if you guys find it helpful, awesome. If not, hey, I'll catch you later. So I do want to touch on one thing. I'm coming back here to this presentation slide. So we've talked already about a lot of this, but I do want to just touch on the daily payments. So they say instant daily payments directly to you. One of the things that makes them different. Now, if you are only using your own account, your balance, you only have your own staked plan that you're running off of, then you will be seeing, or you should be at least, every Friday is when they're paying that out. As soon as they pay out, then we can withdraw that unless you're compounding and then it's going back into the staked amount to compound and earn for the next week. But if you are team building, then you will be getting commissions that come in real time, and you can withdraw those anytime, as long as or as soon as you see any amounts in your wallet balance, then you can withdraw that, which is pretty great. So again, I'll just touch on this really quick so you guys understand. It's a $10 a month if you're not team building. If you guys end up team building, then it's going to be $30 a month. I have a video, I'll include that in the description of this video. If you guys end up wanting to sign up, again, my link's in the description, or go back to whoever referred you to this video if it wasn't me. But in the description, I will include a quick guide. I think it's like 9 minutes of how to get started. So once you create your account, what you need to do to purchase your monthly subscription, how to deposit, and then how to start a new stake, which is very, very simple. But I have that video guide for you so you guys don't get lost. So that's it for this presentation slide. I hope that was helpful. I didn't want to go over a lot of their quotes or other things like that where it's a little bit repetitive of what we've already talked about. I just wanted to focus on the things that I felt was more necessary for you guys to understand, and you didn't have to sit on here for an hour and a half to understand this program. Again, it's very, very simple. And if I show you guys again the back office, we can see here in the back office, it's not the most modern or prettiest or slickest platform that I have seen. But let me tell you guys something. I have seen way better designed sites that only lasted a month. Okay, so these guys, they've told us they spent a lot of time server-wise making sure the necessary information was in here. I mean, it is pretty, they've got a lot of stuff on the side here. There's a lot of different tabs. Like if you guys want to check out, once you create your account, they've got FAQs if you want to submit a ticket, and it looks like actually that they respond or try to respond at least within 24 hours. So if you guys end up having questions that is not on the FAQs, if you guys end up joining my team, or if you want to reach out to me and you've got some questions, they have a Telegram group right here. If you guys notice, click to join our live support Telegram group. This is where the advisory board is, like Renee and Brian, at least. I think JP's in there. Yeah, JP's in there as well. Those guys are all in there answering questions, which is really great to see. And you know what? Let me actually show you guys a little bit. Okay, so this is their official Telegram group. So I wonder, yeah, so Coach B, that's Brian. He is on the advisory board, so he's active in there. JP was as well. Let's see. Anyway, so Coach B, Renee, I don't know if I've seen Renee too active in here. Let's see. JP was. All right, I don't want to take up too much time just scrolling through here, but you guys can see that they're active in here, and we can communicate with the leaders here, which is awesome that they are involved. They want to see us succeed. So having somebody or having a platform at least like that that understands the need for something of longevity and sustainability. That's kind of my drift that I catch from their vision, and they've talked about it a little bit as well, which is great. And again, this isn't 100% guarantee. We are a little bit in the early phase of this. They've got, I mean, like I'm showing here, and as if you have seen, January, they started posting these reports. But I mean, if I'm just to think, if these guys go for 2, 3, 5, 7, 10 years, then this is going to change a lot of people's lives. I think it's you're not going to retire in a month or 6 months or a year, but this is something I feel where I can put some money in and I don't have to worry as much. Where other higher risk platforms, I'm checking in every single day. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Are you guys still running? I hope so. But what I do still in general is I work to get my initial capital back. And, if things end up going south, hopefully I've recovered some versus me being a little bit greedy and just trying to compound, compound, compound. And that's kind of what I do. So, here's the back office. I'm not going to show you guys every single tab. I mean, when you guys create your account, you can see all the stuff in here. They've got a lot of, so they got this academy trading, presentations. If you guys want to grab this presentation slide that I was going off of, they've got marketing tools, webinars. So they got Zoom. They do Zoom sessions and stuff, which is awesome. Like these guys are really involved. And let's see what else. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot more like affiliate stuff, like the placement tool, team network. Some of you might not even apply, right? That not. I feel like actually majority don't even network or team build. So it's whatever. Like I said, it's not required. So the 3% average that they've been getting, that's just if you guys are paying the 10% monthly and you're not worrying about bringing others in. Obviously, you start earning more when you do that, but it is 100% not a requirement. So I think that's going to be it, guys. Kind of talking a little bit about Fundsz as more information comes up. If there is an interview that I end up doing with these guys, then obviously I'll share that with you. But me personally, I've got really good feelings about this. As I was talking with Renee and Coach B from the advisory board, and just kind of going over their plans here, how a little bit like of the earnings and things like that, their background, a bit of what they've done in the past, and it's pretty great. Like I was saying earlier, my one of my uplines has known Coach B. I think it was Coach B for quite a bit, like 7 years. So it's not like nobody knows the advisory board or sorry, let me just go up so I can as I'm talking about these guys. It's not like nobody knows them. So it's good that you know people know these guys. They've known them. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can be on calls with them, and it's not like I'm on calls with them and I still feel sketchy. Like I had a really good call with these two, and Renee's a really awesome guy, and he was just talking more on the earning side and kind of breaking down a little bit of the staking plan and what all of that entails to provide those earnings every single week. So really awesome stuff. I hope you guys are excited as well. And you might not be excited about 3% a week on average if that's what they average, but for me, I don't look at it like that because, like I was saying earlier, I diversify, and if I want to put an egg in a high risk, high reward, great, but I need to find places where I can put a chicken, all right? So where I can put a chicken, where I can create more eggs and continue to diversify and create a little farm of chickens and eggs and make some good cash that way. So reach out to me. My link's in the description of this video. Or if you guys have somebody else who referred you, I've got my video guide once you create your account on how to upgrade to the monthly subscription, how to deposit, how to start a new stake. And then if you guys did sign up under me or do plan to, make sure you reach out to me on Telegram so I can get you into my group. And I'll also send you, if you guys don't end up signing up and seeing this, click to join our live support Telegram group. There's a big old blue button at the bottom. I'll send you guys that link as well so you can join the official Telegram group. I do like to have my own group as well, just so I can keep track of you guys as my direct referrals, or on my level 1, my teammates. And so I can, if there's anything I need to communicate, or if I end up doing any promotions or giveaways or anything, I have you guys all in one spot. So thank you guys. And I know this was a little bit long, but it's good to discuss and understand kind of a little bit more what's going on here. You guys can always end up asking more questions. I'm not perfect, and I'm sure I missed some information here that I probably am going to think of after I end the video, but it's okay. We'll do more, and we'll keep in touch. So thanks, guys, and I'll catch you later.